we gonna.
What up, fam? My name is Smash Afrika, and you can see I'm in a dealership. Where am I? Mini Northcliffe. Why? Because we decided to pull all our aces up our sleeve, because this season is gonna be electric.
Dumelang bagaetsho ke nna Didintle Khunou, and I am chilling with the homies, Smash Africa. Leave it behind. Leave it what?
If this was a scene on Generations, they'll be like, cut.
They'd be like,
Take two.
yes, please.
Welcome to Leave It Better. I'm your host, Smash Afrika.
Again, I'm not feeling. Okay. Dumelang bagaetsho ke nna Didintle Khunou. I'm chilling with Smash Africa, and we are here at Leave It Better. Hey, again, wait, 1, 2, and 2. Dumelang bagaetsho ke nna Didintle Khunou, and I am chilling with the homie Smash Africa, and we're leaving it better, baby. We're leaving it better.
That's right. And by the way, take 1, 2, and 3 all on your camera, all on your YouTube. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and commenting. And my guest is an award-winning artist from South Africa, based in South Africa, but she international. She be out here everywhere.
Everywhere.
On your streaming platforms. And now she just dropped a new single. Now on your streaming music platforms. Congratulations on dropping your single.
Thank you.
I wouldn't call it a debut, but I would say like this is reintroduction to music.
I guess so, because I mean, I have been technically making music for the longest time. Like I remember back in the days, like years ago, and I had a band, and most of them were from Pretoria, and I would go to Pretoria and I would rehearse with them, and then we'd go gigging at little bars, go SD,
Yes.
Klerksdorp, or like we'd just go gigging in Pretoria. So this is not the first time I'm making music, but this is the first time I'm returning after a long time and just kind of like reintroducing myself as a musician, a musical artist.
So Didi, one thing that I noticed about you, Chomi, is that when the year starts for you, like work-wise, it's always on a bang.
Oh yeah.
Like, when did that start for you? Like, and
I'm starting the year on a bang.
like the first quarter of the year, you're always dropping something, or you're always doing
so
something.
Interesting. I never realized that.
You've never picked it up?
No.
Let's
I
reflect.
never did. I mean, that's very
let's take it back. Like, we must, like.
It's been 10 years.
Yeah?
I'm celebrating 10 years in the industry now, and it only feels like the beginning.
Sure.
I think, the quote or the phrase, what? It takes 10 years to create a overnight success or something like that. That's the quote. That's the phrase. But yeah, it's very true. We've been doing this for how many years? But yeah, that's interesting that, the beginning of the year, I never realized that.
Let's go back to that phrase.
Yeah.
So, does the phrase speak to the amount of hours put in, or the amount of years put in, or the amount of because you're saying you are not aware that the first quarter is always a jump off for you.
I never.
Maybe because you are like in the work.
Yeah, maybe it's because I'm too obsessed.
And maybe the work also happens prior to the rollout time.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So are you talking to the 10,000 hours in the game? Do you attribute your 10 years in the game to the 10,000 hours of practicing, not studying to practice, not getting yourself ready?
I would involve the practicing, the investment, the opportunities, and doing the actual work, and getting the gigs and doing the gigs well, failing at some gigs, doing very well at some gigs. The work and the rehearsal and practice and preparation. Yeah.
That's what you attribute.
That's what I'm talking about. And it takes a long, 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 long time in a very fickle industry to get to a point where you feel like, okay, I feel like we're beginning.
Let's talk to you 10 years ago. What would you say to that person? Like, because I mean, you started me there, and I'm like, okay, since we want to reflect on that tip, 10 years ago, this is Didi in 2025.
Yeah.
talking to Didi in 2015.
Oh my God.
Kind of what were you doing in 2015?
I think I was
Let's
ne ke
this why
feleletsa COVID.
re na le di
Re na le
internet.
COVID.
I'm gonna try while
You
you
know
are on
what
the
it was?
thought.
You know what it was?
Mm-hmm.
I was in a Lokshan bicycle called Mob Justice, Mom Zansi Magic. You know what I tell that girl? I tell that girl, take your time, because it takes a long time. Be patient, darling, and be prepared to work.
Yeah.
Long hours for a long, long time. And then I'd also tell her, girl, don't take social media for granted right now. Remember 2015, it was Twitter, it was, what was it?
It was Twitter and
Facebook was still a
Facebook.
thing. Yeah.
It was Instagram was on the come up.
On the come up.
Yeah, proper.
Yeah.
But
I would have told that girl, darling, you better take that
social media serious.
social media seriously.
So I knew you back then.
Yes. Africa, we did know each other. Like, we've known each other for years.
So I think generally, and especially if you're coming from drama school, and you just graduated and you're auditioning and you're realizing, oh man, this is tough. And then you are seeing some of the people that you studied with break into the scene, because this is, you must remember, 2015 is the year Mzansi Magic becomes what Mzansi Magic is now. So it becomes a platform of celebrating African stories and putting African actors on the forefront and just letting those stories live. So trial or error comes.
Yeah.
And we were like, nah, we don't want to trial and error on social media. We want to trial and error in the industry. So I think that's why you were reluctant to participate or share your craft on the online, on social media.
I didn't know. I guess it was the ignorance of not realizing what it could have become. You get what I'm saying? You're not seeing this as a potential tool to use in my toolbox as an actor.
But now you've used YouTube.
Yeah.
As a
Everything.
platform now.
Everything now.
So now you told the young DJs, like, maximize on your social media presence and participation in it. Now we are fast forwarding to present day, ne? How are you navigating that social media, let's call it hype, social media clickbait, social media expectation from the fans, and what you do in your professional capacity? Because kind of you go school for the day.
Trading, it done. Yes, investment into it. No, so definitely there's a strategy now, and there is a great sense of investing in it in a way that I know is profitable, and I know there's a great consideration of how one presents themselves and wants to be presented. And I've thought a lot about when people see me or see my work or see me on social media, what is the impact that I'm having? Am I inspiring others? Am I bringing drama and juicy, drama and entertainment and that kind of stuff? So that is what I am. So that is what I think about when I think about, my relationship with publicity and being a public figure in social media. I consider, how is it that I want to present myself out there? And it is very much a strategic approach.
A lot of planning.
And if I'm going to invest in PR to promote myself in a show, I'm seeing it as a business investment, Yeah. So that is definitely the difference now from how I thought about social media now as an actor, present time, and 2015.
The reason why I actually led with that is, so recently I'm on Big Brother Mzansi season 5. I am making it sound like it's a small feat, but this is like literally the biggest gig I've had, right? Let me just do that.
Okay.
Yeah, because that braid keeps on. All right, cool. Guys, we have microphones. We use microphones.
Guys,
so when you see a cable, it means we want you to hear this conversation. All right, cool. So back to how big this gig is. It's a colossal gig, right? And the
I'm
amount
so
of
proud of you, by the way.
thank you so much. I am grateful that there's so much strategy and planning in terms of the PR and the marketing of that show, right? They literally made me go through, like, this is the most marketing and PR I've ever had to do for one gig. But what we often take for granted is the marketing and the PR. South African content at large actually requires it in order for
To
it
build
to
an
speak
audience.
to an audience, and even an audience far and wide that wouldn't necessarily be interested in it, right? And why I'm going this way is that as someone who's done independent films and international films, and you've seen the different rollouts in terms of you might not know what the marketing budget is, right? Or the PR budgeting is, but the importance of how we can use PR and marketing to promote our work. How do you see us leaving it better with the little that we have, in your
I
personal
think we
opinion?
need to definitely find strategies and ways to build accessibility and build an audience outside of people that we typically reach on social media. And by that, I mean, like, we need to consider the everyday South African, you know, how can they have access to our work? And I'm realizing that how I learned and thought about that was when I started doing Generations and realized that Generations has a huge audience and platform because mainly because of its accessibility to people. So I think the next step is for us to, as businesses, and when we get our private investors and angel investors, is to start thinking about models that can help us grow our audiences to the everyday single person. Because who's to say gore the everyday person hana budget that they can you know, like people have this idea that like batho ba bantsho ha bana tjhelete and batho ba bantsho ba na le tjhelete. It's just a matter of marketing something in advance so that people can make it a part of their budget.
Yeah, yeah,
Re na le tjhelete as
yeah,
batho ba
yeah.
bantsho. And so people, we can't really access that market because we don't
Consider it.
promote.
And we do not promote.
Yes, we don't consider it and we don't promote to
Yeah.
it. So the next business models for us is to start thinking about ways where everyone can reach our work.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Congratulations on bagging the Generation gig.
Thank
I
you.
think Generation is still one of the best performing TV
It's the top
shows
5 most watched TV shows
in South
to this
Africa.
day.
All my life, Generation's been hot.
Yes.
Like pretty much all I could understand TV for what it is, Generation has been in my life.
Yeah, it is our reference.
When
Yes.
you bagged that gig, who was the first person you called and said, "Ke kry-ile Generations, ke kgona go Generations"?
Yo, wait, see, I'm so bad. I need to do this. I need to take on this trait of celebrating the big wins, the
Yeah,
wins and
yeah.
stuff, you know. I don't think I literally called
You
anybody,
didn't
and
call home?
I didn't call home. I did not call
You didn't call
home.
your best friend?
I think I only told him maybe like a few days after.
What was going through your mind? Were you in disbelief? Or is it just like
I think I was working on another job when I got it, and I think I was focused on that job. And then when I was finished shooting there, and I could then jump onto Generations, that's when I was like, "Oh yes, everybody! By the way, I'm on Generations." So I was so focused on something else, and I'm the kind of artist who I get obsessed. Like once I'm doing a character or playing a role or whatever, I obsess. Like I dive deep in, it becomes everything. I focus on it, and then once I release it, I release it. So yeah, I think I only told people a few days before I had to go on set that, oh yeah, by the way, I'm doing this.
No, because also there was also like a PR run that you were joining Generations before South Africa got to see you.
Yes.
But obviously, I would assume you had already started shooting some scenes
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
as that
actually,
came out.
yes,
By
yes,
the way, I only speak like this
yes.
not because Didi are always on the WhatsApps. It's because I work in the industry and
So he
generally,
understands.
Yeah, how it works.
How it works.
Now, walk me through the first day on set. Who are you meeting? Like, you gotta walk me through, and what I mean, like, you gotta walk me through. Are you meeting the director on the day? Because remember, there's also pre-production before you get on set.
Yes.
I'm
Okay.
not.
So,
I'm
but
not interested in
in
that chat.
that,
I'm interested on
the
the day you
first
arrive
day,
on
I
set.
get to SABC, I realize I need to have an SABC card or else I'm going to have to deal with the securities signing me in and signing me out. So the first day before shooting, I'm like, okay, I'm going to work on getting an access card, get in, because it was a laborious process, but got in. And then the first person I saw was the makeup person and the wardrobe person and wow, I think in that moment I realized, damn, this character is very different from me. Look at these clothes. I would never be caught wearing this. And I get into makeup and then I completely change as well. The hair, the makeup, they made a look that really matured me and I was like, yeah, okay. And that was also a process where now
Shifting the mind. Yeah.
shifting the mind into character. I get on set, and I think the first actor I bump into is the amazing Osmana Karanata.
Sure.
She is so amazing. I have such a huge crush on her. Like, I feel like she is one of the strongest actors I've ever witnessed.
Yeah.
Like, that I've ever played with and that I've ever witnessed. She's so strong and she's just the star of generations.
Sure.
Like her character is the life
Sure.
she breathes life into her character, Lucy. So I bump into her and then and she's so warm and she was encouraging me and she's like, yes, 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 you're gonna do well. Ah, she's the best. And then I get onto set and I meet the director and it's all good. They're very fast and very efficient. Their generations. There's no time for actors asking too many questions. You're given a block. You're given blocking. You get there. You better say your lines, or else the crew will get real frustrated. You better not fluff. There's no time for fluffing. You shoot a scene in a few minutes and then it's on to the next scene because the schedule is pretty hectic. And I was working with our Papa Action. He was my first the first actor I actually got to work with, and that's when I realized, whoa, I'm a generations. Like I'm working with iconic actors,
Yeah.
man. Got to steal a little bit from them as the character developed in the story. Then I got introduced to the great Vusikunene, who is just legendary, and I'm always so interested. Like I'm always watching him as he's performing because, whoo, he's really skilled at what he does. He's seasoned.
Yeah.
Man,
Seasoned is the word.
yeah, that's
And
the
the
word.
thing about being on a podcast like this, Leave It Better, is how that seasonedness can fall on your lap and then you get a sprinkle of that season
Yeah.
and you make something because you've got your own energy.
Yes.
You make something out of it.
that. Yeah.
So in your time, and you've acted on so many things, dude, and
Yeah.
you've worked with a lot of seasoned people.
Yeah.
In your time in the industry, in the 10 years that you've been in the industry, who are
Mm.
some people, in no particular order, who've
Mhm.
left it better for you in
Oh,
terms of your craft and
shoot.
creating an environment for you to thrive and not survive? You know, Joe Beggar Mama can
Yay!
show you flames.
Yes, that is so true. Um, okay. I think actresses like Osunta Dimoshesh playing my mother, mm, she left it better.
Yeah.
There were just so many things that she taught me about getting in and out of character, about intentionality and using the eyes and the voice, about being a person who is light-hearted and easy to work with.
Mm.
You know, I think actors, we need to remember that you need to be easy to work with when you're not shooting, just so that people want to employ you again and give you the job again because you're just a great energy to
Yeah,
be around
yeah.
with. In terms of theater, I won't lie, the amazing Craig Urbani, that person, working with him, on stage left it better. You know, just his attention to detail, his creativity and openness and willing to play and find interesting things in the rehearsals. And also how he comes really prepared to rehearsals, and just his aura and his confidence and how he commands the room when he walks in, you know? So yeah, there's so many. There are so many, but those are the two that come to
I like how
mind.
you actually break it down.
Mm.
So you are perhaps watching this from wherever, and you could either be in a place of limbo and you don't know whether you want to act, you want to sing, you want to be in the entertainment industry, or you want to be in the corporate space, right? But the one thing that you said that I like about the two individuals is your ability to allow yourself to be easy to work with goes beyond that time you're hot or you're on that set or you're performing with said person. Your ability to come prepared, your preparedness speaks to how when it's time to actually labor, you're going to get the best results. Your
Yes.
lack of preparedness means like you're
Incompetent.
going to come back incompetent, you know? So when you think about leaving it better, the values of being easy to work with, it should be the first and foremost thing that we get in terms of our modules at school.
It's actually part of professionalism.
Professionalism.
Yeah.
And we're not saying be a walkover.
No.
We're not saying be an ass kisser.
No.
You know what I mean?
No. It's about being easy to work with means having respect for every single person the from the cleaner and the security person to the executive producer and everybody else, everybody on set. You are respectful, you greet everyone, you look everyone in the eye, you engage, you don't complain, you're not coming with negative energy, you just show up and you show up your best version and you treat people with respect. Itlhompho, fela. That's what I mean by being easy to work with, not being too sweet or allowing people to treat you a certain way. No, but it's having a sense of self-respect and having respect for others.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's beautiful. I just needed us to spend a little time there because, you know, oftentimes, like, what do you mean be easy to work with? And you've put it succinctly, and hopefully we'll take that and put this clip out on TikTok and it trend for the right reasons.
Yes.
Now let's talk about like your international gigs, and what I mean by international gigs, streaming on international platforms.
Yes.
You at liberty to mention them, but I'm not because they don't pay me.
Yeah, I mean,
How is that working environment versus, because look, I know theater is school of the hard knocks.
yes.
The world of theater there, brah, like it's about the art
Yes, and the discipline.
and the discipline,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The form is so important.
Yes.
That it's not about the frills.
No.
It's on the day of show.
Yes.
We'll do the frills and the lighting, but those things are there to enhance your performance.
Oh, yeah.
They are not there to make your performance.
That's not the meat of the performance. Yes. Yes.
Now, you come from that school.
Yes.
And now,
The Dreamstream studio in Randburg is a full-service studio on Bromfisher Drive. It's perfectly suited for podcast, music recordings, and general video recordings. Backed up by an experienced editing and production team means you can walk in, record, and walk out knowing that everything will get done as you require. Our mobile gear ensures we can cover your video and live streaming needs on location too. We got the cameras, the lights, and the action to make you and your brand shine. Contact us now, studio@dreamstream.co.za, and we'll make it happen. Dreamstream, a place to create yourself.
you go and work for an international studio or with an international studio,
Yeah.
and they treat you like, just give me a run through of how they treat you there
Well,
with the international shows.
you'll have your own trailer, for sure. You'll have your own
What does
trailer.
this trailer look like, man? Just paint a picture for me.
Like, okay, I'm trying to think now. Okay, so like a typical trailer,
Yeah.
right? You would have a trailer on set. On an international, you definitely have an AD who walks you, who picks you up from where you're dropped off or where you parked your car, take you to your trailer, give you the
Script.
call sheet, the schedule in another way, the schedule for the day. Your trailer, you go to your trailer, your name is by your trailer. Everyone knows that this is your space. Walk inside, and your trailer usually has its own little bathroom, a working space, a space where keeps your costume nice and clean and ready for you to change into before you head on
So
to
you don't have to
makeup.
go to the wardrobe department where everyone is in a queue.
No, ain't no queues. Ain't no queues, baby. Yeah. But but no, I've had to work on productions where there is a queue, and I've had to
Yes.
earn my stripes and work towards that. To work
We
towards
gotta also
having
reflect
your
on
own
that while
trailer.
you're
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
painting this picture.
But yeah, you have a person who calls you, knock, knock, knock on your trailer. Um, you are ready, makeup and whatever is ready for you. You head to makeup, which has its own trailer, or their own space. You do that. You're in the makeup trailer. You come back. You have an AD who may ask you if you'd like breakfast and what would you like? Would you like coffee? They dish it up for you, they give it to you at your trailer, you eat it. It's nice and calm. You're given a cold time where everything can be done properly. There's not too much of
Rushing.
a rush. Um, yeah, and depending on the director, sometimes I've had a director who will come to me before starting to shoot and just we'll have a conversation and we'll just talk and we'll discuss the scenes or the day ahead or just even do a check-in. It really depends on the director, and sometimes you'll only see the director when you get to the set. um yeah, you come out of your trailer. um Maybe you might go into a green room and maybe see other actors go through lines. Sometimes a continuity person will come through and go through lines with you guys. Make sure that you're just ready lines wise and words wise before you get onto the set. The AD will escort all the actors to the set. Um, and then once you reach the set, that's when you really learn your blocking and spend time doing that. Talk to the director, get into your blocking, run the scene a couple of times until it feels good, and then you start shooting.
Showtime.
Yeah, and then it's showtime.
So does that build up make you feel as if that they're making it easy for you to do your job?
And I think it's important I really think
Because I like how
producers
you put
should
it
know.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, producers in this country should know that your actors are the stars of your show. They are the stars of your show. You need to make sure that the stars of your show are in perfect condition and are in the perfect mindset to do the work brilliantly. You want to take care of them. You don't want to just put them in a raggedy, cold ass green room where everyone is freezing to death in winter. There's no heaters, and then you put them on set and expect them to work well because we are the stars of the show. People sit down at home on their couches and switch on the TV to watch actors, not to watch the producer or the sound person or the sets. They come to see the actors tell a story. So you need to take care of them.
And now my follow-up question is, that kind of treatment can now leave you feeling entitled to certain things, certain perks. And I'm speaking to now ego and pride coming into play, right? So you've experienced this, and your agent knows this because you've done internationals. And then you audition for South African, a local production, and then you say, my terms and conditions, my artist rider, my work environment things.
I
How
think
do
that
you how do you how do you make sure that you are not perceived as an arrogant or egotistical actor who's experienced the best versus
was spoiled.
yeah, or spoiled, or an actor who wants the best in order for them to give their best performance? And I feel like you're the right person to ask this.
Ask that.
Yes.
I think
Not that
as a
other actors don't deserve this question, but
but
yeah,
no,
the work speaks. I mean, your work speaks for you.
thank you. I can only speak from my own perspective and for myself. I think you need to adjust your expectations. You need to understand what kind of production you're going into. If this is an independent film where we're shooting this in 10 days and there's like a crunch time and resources are a bit limited, you have to adjust your expectations and know what is possible and what isn't possible. But if it's a bigger production that has a bigger budget and you know that they have the capacity to hold space for you and take care of you the way an actor should, then you can expect more. So for me, just to answer that really succinctly, you have to adjust your expectations. You have to know what you're working with. Um, and you have to do that for yourself so that you're not breaking your own heart, feeling confused and disappointed about different experiences. You can't walk into a production that has a specific limited budget and expect international kind of setup.
It's
I
like,
mean, that
why
is
is that
quite
actor? Yeah,
that
it
is
doesn't.
quite
Yeah, unrealistic.
delusional
Yeah.
and unrealistic,
Mhm.
you know. So yes, but I think that there are still the basics that need to be maintained, whether it's a smaller budget or a bigger budget project. You need to have a green room that has a heater or an air con depending on the weather. You need to have craft, and a craft that has good food, healthy food, food that sustains the cast and the crew. You need to have the basics of just like a wardrobe changing station that people can change in comfortably.
That's decent.
That's decent.
And decency speaks to comfortability, speaks to safety.
Safety.
Yeah, because
There
that's what.
needs to be
Yeah,
security on.
like, because if you're changing in a tent, and by the way, I'm not calling out anyone. If I'm changing in a tent, at least that tent needs to feel secure, like it's not gonna fall on me.
Yes.
And then next thing, Oma pona pona satani.
Yeah.
You know what? Because the tent fell.
Yes, exactly.
And we gotta put that out. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know, and also just the tent is in a space where there are curtains, where, you know, people must feel safe and dignified where they're working at. Let the conditions be dignified
Yeah, I like that.
and professional and safe,
I like that.
you know? Yeah.
Dude, so while we're talking about this, I can't help but like my heart to say, yeah, the benefits for the actors.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, the
the
Performance
benefits,
Amendment Bill, let's get into it.
yeah, like when we talk about freelancers, like there's really there's no security in what you do.
Yeah, man.
And
That's why this
the
amendment bill needs to be signed so that our industry can be regulated.
tell me
so
more
that,
about this amendment bill, because I see
yeah.
you're also part of this a group of actors who are pushing for this amendment bill to be signed.
I think
And one
this-
of the things,
yeah.
they could easily blackball all of you guys. Like, oh, like supporter. You know what I mean?
I know. No, 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 no. Being part of Saga and being a Saga member, honestly, I just want to put it out there that you don't have to be an actor to be a part of Saga. And I implore people who are patrons of the arts, people who care about the entertainment industry, people who enjoy the entertainment industry and have a passion for the South African entertainment industry, I implore you to join Saga, because the more numbers we have as Saga members, the easier it is for them to really advocate and push for things like the amendment bill to be the performers amendment bill to be signed. I'm just sick and tired of actors, and not just actors and crew, and many people who are involved on the ground, who do the groundwork on a set to produce a show. I'm sick and tired of people having to fight. It's always a fight to get paid on time. With this bill, being placed into law, it really allows us to just, if we sign a contract and they say they're going to pay us at a certain time, you are guaranteed, because you are protected, that you will be paid contractually. And also,
And you are
royalties. People deserve to be earning. We work hard when we create the work that we do. We deserve for our lives to be sustained by the work that we put out. If a show goes on repeat, or if a show gets sold, we deserve,
or syndicated.
we deserve to receive the royalties of that, to receive some form of compensation and payment for that. That's our work, and everybody benefits. I think another misconception about this bill is that actors want to be treated like, they're greedy, and they want to be treated like,
Yeah, let's talk about that.
superstars. No.
Just break it down for the person, because oftentimes it's like you watch a clip from a podcast like this. You don't watch the full interview.
Yes.
And you're like, yeah, no, they are being ungrateful now, these actors. What are they talking about? So please just break it down, what this Performers Protection Amendment Bill speaks to. Because right now, it needs to be signed, right? So it's tabled. They have amended the things that they need to amend, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Now, all the president needs to do is sign it, and it becomes law, and the performers are protected from being exploited. Working conditions.
For 7 years, it's been waiting to be signed into law for 7 years, just by the way. It's 7 now.
So what are we protecting the performers from exactly?
So, from my understanding of the bill, we're protecting performers from not being paid their royalties when they are involved in acting in a show, and that show gets bought by another channel or bought by another broadcaster or whatever. It allows us, or they are repeats, it allows us to earn the royalties of the work that we are involved in shooting, right? So you get a payout every time they repeat a show that your face and your image is in. And then
let's not forget the performance too.
Yeah.
Your performance also matters.
It's your work.
Yeah.
So that's the major important part, but it also allows for us to be able to unionize and be able to fight for ourselves and defend ourselves in a situation where you're not being paid contractually based on a contract. You haven't been paid the monies for your service. Imagine you deliver a service and
there's no money for it.
No one pays you on time per contract. And you can't even defend yourself, and
you can't take them to the courts.
Yeah,
because you don't have the money to take them to the court.
Number one, and number two, the kind of contracts that you sign
says you can't speak about this.
Freelancer. So yeah, you're a freelancer, and so because based on the fact that you're a freelancer, you can't even go to a union to ask for assistance to help you get your money on time. Like, it's just crazy. So basically, that is what this bill allows for. And it benefits everyone, guys. This misconception that actors are greedy and they want money and they want to be treated like superstars, it's so untrue, because really all actors are asking for is decency and sustainability in our career.
Why do you think the perception is negative rather than positive or progressive for the performers and the South African entertainment landscape at large? Why is the perception that it's actors, they want all the money?
It's because there is already a misconception that if you are seen on TV,
you're getting a lot of money,
that you must be rich, or this misconception that, yeah, because you're on TV and you're some kind of celeb, or people see you often on TV, they think you must be very well well off. But really, the reality is a lot of actors don't have medical aid. A lot of actors can't even afford like proper life cover. Because you're a freelancer, it's very difficult to get financing for things like a house or a car. Like, people don't people really think that there is this glamour to being on TV. But and actually, if we are stars who are getting bums on seats, who are getting all this attention on a show, giving a show all this attention, why and like must we not be able to be well off? Why are we not allowed to live lives that are sustainable? Why is it that our work cannot take care of us and sustain us? And why can we not afford to be paid properly so that we can afford medical health care? I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me that if I also I agree with the public. If I'm seeing this face every single day on TV, surely they must be well off. But the reality is that we're not. But it should be the other way around.
So, what do you say to people who say, no, these actors blow their money, they make their money in a short span of time and they blow their money. Now they want to cry foul. So, we've seen how many actors in the past, they die paupers or creatives at large, right? You're like, yo, but he was hot, he was everywhere, he had all the money. And when they take out the receipts and like, look, he was charging X amount of time, and what do you have to say to that? I guess side of the field that's speaking that, because we got to look at it like this table. There are four corners. There are the performers, right, and people who are with the performers, and then there are the naysayers who are against the performers, and the same president who's not signing the bill. So you could, and then there's everyone who's in the middle here. I'm just using this table. I don't know if this analogy of mine is working. But I'm gonna try myself out. So Didi, like, this is this table, right? We got that president there who's got the bill in front of him, is not willing to sign. We've got the naysayers saying actors are greedy, and I'm assuming these naysayers are, let's call them the platforms where everything is broadcast on, and the producers that all together banding together, ne? And then on the right we have the performers there saying, yo, can we please sign the performance protection bill? And then we have the fans of the actors like, yes, we've seen how many artists are laid to rest with nothing, and yet their music is playing everywhere, or they're performing on our screens everywhere. And then we have a field. This big
Is
field.
this the war field?
That's
This
the
is
that's the field. That's
battlefield.
where everyone is fighting and whatnot, right? And for someone watching right now,
So the
and
guys in the corner there.
the outside, I get it, like,
Yeah.
from the outside, especially more South Africa. So
Oh,
those are the fans in South Africa who are with the
okay.
performers.
Yes.
Those are the performers who want the protection
Yeah.
performance bill signed. There's the president who's got the bill in front of him, and here are the producers and the broadcasters who are also siding with him, right? And now all the fighting is happening here, but the show must go on. Entertainment must still be produced. Actors need to eat.
The economy must still keep
Yeah,
running.
actors need to eat.
Yeah.
Fans need to be entertained. Broadcasters and
Still need
executives
content to
need
make for them.
content for them.
Yes.
And that's why it's always like this. So the broadcasters and the executives are looking at the fans diagonally like that across. And then the president and the performers are also diagonal like that, looking at each other. Mr. President, sign this damn thing so that we can live. We want our royalties. We've put in the work. We are always dying with absolutely nothing, right? And then devil's advocate says, hey, bruh, if you sign this bill, we don't get to make as much money as we usually make. And it's unsustainable for us to keep on churning out this content for the fans.
I'm just saying that that's a first myth that we need to
Boom. Let's go for it.
that it's not unsustainable. and that we can create a working dynamic as you've set up so nicely here, where everyone benefits and everyone can benefit and be given a profit properly, like decently, like proper wages. People do not have to be struggling and not be paid on time in order for these guys to create content for those guys. People can be paid properly. That's the first myth that we must rule out.
Okay, so that's the first myth.
Yes.
Second to that now, what happens when President signs this bill for the performers? What does that look like for
Okay,
them?
so for the performers, if the policies can come into law, what it does for them and also for the producers, these guys here who are creating the content, is that it creates laws where everyone is protected.
Okay.
It creates laws where systems, and a system that we are working under right now can be adapted into one where everything works on time. People are paid on time. It actually, there's space for more productions to be created and more work to be created if more people are given the opportunity to be paid properly for the work. Right? If there is a system put in place where everyone benefits, it actually boosts the economy and it boosts the system for everyone, right? But if you are leaving a certain group of people hungry and without resources and without the support to be able to do the work that you guys need to make, it lowers the quality and the productivity of these people, right? It makes it hard for them to do their job. So if we can create a system where everyone benefits, why not? Why are we being greedy?
Are there governments that we could use as references that where it worked?
Like the US. The US has a system where there are unions put in place, like SAG-AFTRA, where the union makes sure that performers benefit from the work that they're doing. The producers benefit from having performers who are well paid for, who are protected, who if they sign a contract that benefits them, will do the best work that they can under the contract that is fair and just. The US is a perfect example of like.
The Dreamstream studio in Randburg is a full-service studio on Bromfisher Drive. It's perfectly suited for podcast, music recordings, and general video recordings. Backed up by an experienced editing and production team means you can walk in, record, and walk out knowing that everything will get done as you require. Our mobile gear ensures we can cover your video and live streaming needs on location too. We got the cameras, the lights, and the action to make you and your brand shine. Contact us now, studio@dreamstream.co.za, and we'll make it happen. Dreamstream, a place to create yourself.
The importance of having unions so that everyone can work perfectly, so that we create an ecosystem where everyone benefits. The president benefits from the film industry growing because people are productive.
Yeah, bro. Like,
they benefit from, making sure that cast and crew are paid properly. They benefit from having a system that isn't trying to, where people are not being exploited. Everyone comes in as a collaborator and can work towards making great content that will benefit the economy and them, because then they build an audience outside of just South Africa. They build a wider audience because now they have a system where everything just works properly. Obviously, the performers benefit because, they're doing the groundwork. They're coming onto the set ready to give their best. They're given the investment into their brands that makes them international, not just local stars, but makes them international stars. They have an international appeal. An international production would want to use a South African actor as the face of their production and invest in the country, want to come and use our actors as well as our studios and our resources. You no longer need to be in a situation where international investors come here, they want to shoot here, but they don't feel like
They
they
want to
are
plow back.
enough. Yeah, they want to plow back and they don't feel like they have enough stars in
Yeah.
South Africa
So they
here
rather bring the
that can
stars from.
push. Yeah, everyone benefits if things are done properly. Let's just stop the greed. Let's stop being money hungry, King Batu. It
Yeah.
benefits everyone in the long run.
Yeah. So the bill is out there for you to access it. We'll share a link. Essentially, the objectives of the bill seeks to address the challenges facing the creative industry from non-payment of royalties. Didi mentioned this, lack of formalization of the creative industry, which exposes it to abuse, piracy, and rights of performers by making provision for the following: the protection of performers' moral and economic rights, written agreement where rights of performers are involved, the protection of rights of producers of sound recordings, and prohibition of conduct in respect of technological protection measures and the copyright management regulations. So if you, yeah, if you are interested in reading more about this bill and what it speaks to, we'll share the link in this video, and yeah, go and read up all about it. Man, it's something you're passionate about.
Yes.
It's something you are passionate about.
Yes,
Where does that
definitely.
come from? You come from a household where you had like
I come from a household of entrepreneurs.
Sure.
My father is a general practitioner. He's a doctor, but he owns his own practice. So he's an entrepreneur. My mother is also a businesswoman. She left her 9 to 5 as a medical technologist and started her own business,
Sure.
you know, as a guest house owner, you know, and as an interior designer and decorator, and as a caterer, all of the above. She's an entrepreneur. So I come from a house of entrepreneurship. I understand the importance of South Africans having that sense of support, you know, to be able to start business so that they can empower their community and so that they can hire people and help with job employment. I understand the importance of being able to make your own money, to have a sense of ownership. You know, I understand the importance of just like Black people being able to contribute towards growing the economy through business.
Yeah.
It's so important. So I come from that perspective, and that's why I don't know. That's why I feel strongly about the Performers Amendment Bill, because we need to create a system in the film industry that is growing our economy. There's so much potential. There's so many stories that we can share with the world. There's potential to attract investors from all over the world, but how are we attracting investors to a system that isn't working?
That's broken.
That's broken.
That's broken. Mind you, a law that's been around since 1960 something.
1962 or is it 7?
That's why I get 60 something.
It's outdated.
And I think about that and I'm like,
And bro, think about this. We are in AI times. Like, we're deep in AI. Like, AI is now our life. But we are still working on a system and laws that 1964. It's like, no, we need to adjust. We need to keep up with the times.
we need to evolve.
We need to
We need
evolve.
to innovate.
Yes.
And we also need to be ahead of the curve.
Yes, we need to be ahead of the curve. Right now, the world is looking at Africa. We have the eyes on
And
us
imagine,
right now.
imagine this. I'm gonna paint a picture. Imagine this, right? We're in 2025, and the performers are crying about a situation where the world is looking at us, and those who are grim reapers are looking at us and say, let's go down there and exploit some more.
Some more.
Because Africa has known to be this
Colonized.
land of exploitation.
Do we need
So
to be recolonized?
imagine that. Like, just I know that's a grim picture to paint,
But it's the reality,
but
bro.
that's the reality. Like, you are literally watching everything go to shit.
Yeah.
And the you look at the landscape. You know, I was watching a podcast, and I seldom like to speak about what I consume because sometimes you get the facts wrong and you're paraphrasing and
And now you're in trouble.
you know. But I was watching a podcast, and someone was speaking about a bill that Bill Clinton signed, I think in 1996, right? And it allowed for, at the time when he signed that bill, it allowed for the big corporates to buy the smaller guys, which is what has happened over the years. I mean, Universal Music, a huge like multinational, has been able to buy these small indie record labels, and they are all under Universal, and therefore they have a bigger control of the pie in terms
Everything.
of what goes out. And this guy was mentioning, like, he signed this bill at the time, right, where we knew independent labels to go and find taste, to go and find what speaks to a generation, what speaks to a time, etc., etc. So much so that it diluted that, and we lost all of that and everything in terms of the big guys at the top decide what the taste is going to be for the next 10 years or for the time or for the era. And in terms of, like, yes, people made money when they got bought out, but only a few people got money. So instead of speaking to what's currently happening, what's on the pulse of Johannesburg CBD, the culture there, or what's happening in Bloem, in Peli, in Cape Town, in the culture there. Like, and I'm using these references for people to understand from what a local to national and how it affects in internationally. And essentially, we are at a time where that bill was signed by Bill Clinton, allowed for the big corporate giants to buy the small guy out and own the small guy. That's why you have streaming. So all the monies that we saw, like, what did they say? We'll give you this much. You can split it. Spotify said, here's this much. Guys, split it among yourself. You'll first figure it out, you know? If it wasn't for that bill, we might have had still more independent record labels. But it happened, and so it will be. The question now is, what are we doing to leave it better in the spaces that we occupy? Are we having these conversations where it's like, they messed up back then, let's make sure we don't mess up,
Change the
you
tide
know?
within the system.
And the reason why I use that podcast that I saw, right, is because when you're looking at the South African industry when it comes to music, bro, we have shifted the needle since COVID-19 started with what Piano did, right? And then you ask yourself, like, where are all the monies of all these streamers, of these streams going? Are they going to the small guy?
No.
You gotta you know what I mean?
And even if the small guy is benefiting, hey, they're not benefiting as much.
You know, like, I always look at, like, the small guy on TikTok who starts a dance challenge and it's got the most amount of views, right? And I'm like, is this guy benefiting from making this guy's song big? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we got a lot of we gotta play in a lot of parts, and we also need to know the value that we bring as the
to the
player.
table as the player.
You know?
Yeah.
As I digress, I want to talk about, like, the parents who are watching this right now and are feeling like they misunderstand their kids, or they want to support their kids, or they just want to know more about the industry that you are in. What kind of personality or character must their child have based on what you've seen and experienced?
I think there are so many different types of personalities in the industry. Your child doesn't have to have a specific type of personality to be able to contribute and fit in. In fact, I would implore that people encourage their children to lean into their individual, unique, quirky things, the things that make them so them, and use those qualities to put themselves forward through their individualism, because that is what is going to make them pop and shine. all I need the parents to know, ne, is that the kids just need to have financial education. They just need to know when they make money through their craft and their art, how can they best manage their money so that they can grow it and so that they can invest it in a way where they have a backup, they have a pillow to rest on. How introduce your children to different ways of making money and different various streams of income so that when they are in this industry, they are showing up to spaces knowing their worth and not like from a really desperate place. They are showing up into spaces knowing their value, knowing their worth, and not hungry physically, but hungry creatively, you know? There's a difference between that hunger.
Say it. Mm-hmm.
You know, they need to just walk into spaces wanting to innovate and change, and you need to be able to do that, not like worried about how you're going to pay the rent, you know. So that is what I would say to parents and to young people who want to enter the industry. You just now need to be smart, you need to have a strategy. It sounds boring, but do that SWOT analysis. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses, know your advantages, know your disadvantages. Have a strategy because it's not easy. The life of a freelancer, especially in this economy, is not easy at all. So have your various forms of income. Know that when the money comes in, know what you're doing with the money and be strict about it. Have the discipline, you know? Yeah. At this point, that's really all I can say to the parents is
like
that
that.
your child can thrive and you can thrive in this industry. You just need to protect yourself. You need to know your rights. You need to also find someone who is a lawyer or is studying to become a lawyer or whatever, and let them teach you how to read a contract. No, let them teach you how to read a contract. You know, just equip yourself in that sense. Come into the industry knowing that you are a business, you know, you are a business and an artist and a creative, but you're a business. So how would you run a business? In fact, come into the industry knowing how to run a business.
That's
Or
right.
learning the foundation of like how to handle a business.
It hasn't been easy for me personally. Because like literally I run my brand. You know,
You don't have do you have a team?
I don't have a team. I used to have a team and that did not work out, and I'm at a place. It's funny that you mentioned this. I'm at a I'm at a crossroad, right? So you can use people for periods or seasons. So like hire a team on a contract level. Like these 3 months, there's that person, there's that person, there's that person. But where I am really struggling, or the downside of having to run everything and be the entrepreneur, is the discipline. You know, I just need to get that
Right.
on lock. Once I got that on lock, I'll be good because
How so?
the rest is easy. Like, so, you know, when you were speaking about financial literacy, one of the things that you do when you've got 150,000 rands in the bank account, you think you have a lot of money, but it's really not a lot of money when you think about the bigger things. Because, like, maybe a month, your home expenses equate to 30K. That's paying your bond, insurance, levies, um, food, electricity.
And that's just basic.
Yeah, that's just like your
The basic.
household living expense, right? So you got to split that into 3 months,
Yeah.
and you got 150 rand, 150,000. I beg your
And then
pardon.
you still have to save it.
Yeah. So, and then by the time you split that into 3 months, you've got 90,000 rand
Yeah.
on the side, and now you are left with 60K. Now you're like, shit. I need to take the 60K back into the business,
Mm.
but I don't have a plan, nor a strategy, nor an idea what that is.
And that 150K that came from that gig, you need to find a way for it to somehow make more for you.
The lack of discipline will
Yeah.
comes like, dog, let me go and bowl out.
You'll go get a car.
You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, it's like just something stupid. Like, I say something stupid like go on a holiday. Or you don't really need a holiday, but just let's go away.
I'm one of those people who part of self-care is like
I know,
family.
no. I know, and I understand, and I'm saying something stupid because, like, in essence, you need to have like in the ideal world. In my ideal world, I need to have like there is a time to get away and enjoy myself away, and I'll fully enjoy it. But I can't keep on doing that every 6 months or every 3 months where I get this X amount of money. You know, so just getting that and focusing. So one of the things that I said to myself is like, you've been living literally hand to mouth for the longest of time. How about what?
Living check to check.
That's literally what it is, right? That so let's pretend you are broke. You actually don't have,
Yeah.
and see how that goes when you actually do have, and just see how far that will go for you. You know.
In fact, for me, it's where I learned all these things was through when I was broke, and when I was really limited in terms of where this money is going. Those were the moments that actually taught me, okay, I need to be able to save something. I need to be able to invest something. I need to be strict about I need to be strict about groceries, rent, and what maintenance, self-maintenance. I need to be really strict. It was in those moments that actually built the self-discipline to manage my finances properly. And it was also in asking people who work in finance or like a finance manager, a financial manager, information about like, okay, how would you handle your finances? Or like, if you had this budget and you make this amount every month, it was also paying myself a salary every month. So when I get that 150, for example, I knew that I still have to pay myself a salary every single month because I still want to be able to prepare my credit. I want to build a credit score. If I want to get financing for a car, for example, I need to pay myself consistently something every month, and I need to be practical and very grounded about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think once the money comes in, you want to
Yay.
go paper planes.
Yay, 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 yay. Yay, yay, yay. Kumonate, man.
Dude, before I let you go,
Yes.
earlier on I mentioned that you are back in the music. You just dropped a new single.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that single.
So it's called Say It. It's very on the house. I call it,
Electronic music.
yeah, it's electronic music, but I call it like pop influenced house.
That's why calling it electronic music is safer.
It just
It's safer.
yeah, it's safer, ne? But definitely electronic, leaning more into the house side, and it's the first debut into putting myself out there as a musician. Now I've been for the last 10 years I've been struggling when it comes to the music thing, having the worst imposter syndrome. You know, you must know what if it takes you 10 years to do something that you love doing every single day.
By the way, you used to do every day of your life.
Then you know you have a
And you do it,
crazy imposter syndrome.
and then you do it when you're at home when no one is watching,
but
or no
then
one is listening. When it's time for you to do it on record, you can't,
And
or you just choose not to.
You choose not to.
You choose not to come out of your shell.
And the thing is, now that we're talking about this, but y'all can go stream Say It on all platforms. It's available on all platforms. The important thing that I learned from it as a creative and as an artist is to get over the fear of being seen, the fear of being judged, the fear of being perceived. because I think that was what was creating the block. This idea that I'm going to be judged. What if it sucks? Oh my God, it needs to be perfect. What if it sounds to this, to that? What if? So many excuses because I was afraid of being seen outside of something that I'm already known for.
Mm-hmm.
And I was afraid of failing at something. But I think what this experience is teaching me is that you need to release yourself from the fear of being perceived and being judged and being liked or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to remember that me being here, me having this voice, me doing what I'm doing is actually a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
For me to be here, it meant my ancestors had to live, go through the turmoils that they went through, survive them, have children, and continue their lineage to the to this very moment where I am alive and breathing. That is a miracle. And ever since I really came to the understanding and grips of that, I realized that I'm wasting time on my beautiful divine gifts and energy. I am a representation of a lineage of people who this gift of mine of being an artist probably comes from way back because of someone who centuries ago decided to embody that the way that they did. And now I have this gift and I'm here worried about whether someone will like my music or not instead of just sharing my gifts with the world. When I realized that me just breathing is a miracle, or me putting ideas that I think God plants into my heart and my soul and sharing that with the world, that is a miracle because we're all connected. Me sharing my gifts is an input into the universe
The
of
bigger picture.
ideas, the bigger picture.
Bigger picture. And in the bigger picture, it's seldom about you.
It's not even about you, but you are contributing
Yeah.
to it. And so,
Yeah.
what happens if you are given a gift and you're not contributing to something that is much bigger than you?
Yeah.
It becomes a miss.
I was even so much so when you say that, a lot of people were making fun of Mike Tyson when some kid asked Mike Tyson about legacy and all of that.
Mm.
And you know, Mike Tyson was so candid. It's like I that's ego. That's like I don't care about that. You're gonna die and you're dead and that's it.
Mm.
The thing is about what you're doing right now as you are living. And I think he might have struggled to articulate that the role that I'm playing right now plays a pivotal part in the bigger picture that I might not be here to see,
Mm.
but I do not want claim
Mm.
to that work. I'm
Mm.
just grateful that I was able
To
to
do
wake up
it.
and execute.
Mm.
Wake up and
And
execute
execute.
until the last day. And it was like, oh, he went too deep. And I'm like, because
No.
we get so obsessed with like legacy, legacy, legacy. And I'm
Impact,
like,
impact,
And
impact.
I'm like, great, good for you. But in truth, you just but a small speck
Mm.
in the bigger picture. And if you are intentional about how you shift the needle in being
Yes.
that small speck
Speck.
and being selfless, it's like kindness is not for you, it's for the next person,
Yeah.
you know? And when we also speak about empathy,
Mm.
empathy is not for self, it's for the next person.
But
Eh,
it is
builds,
great for self.
no,
Yeah.
but here's what it does. It's like from the cup that you're pouring out of, whether it's kindness or empathy,
Mm.
the beautiful thing is like whatever you poured out
Mm.
comes back and refills, whether it refills through blessings,
Or
it refills through your next opportunities, or it just refills from your heart just being
Yes.
pure. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have the answers,
Yeah.
but I just wanted to chime in there, man,
Yes.
when you were speaking about that.
And I agree with you because your cup had to be filled by other people who
At some point,
inspired you
at
to
some
be
point,
who you are.
at some point.
So how are you not continuing the work?
Mm.
Because you being you and doing the work may inspire or move something in someone to do something that is better for the collective. So you being small, playing small, and not showing up the best way you can, you think you're just but a speck, but it influences everything. If everyone in the world showed up for their passions and their desires and their work the best that they could, as the best version of themselves, imagine what this world would be. We'd have a regulated industry by now.
She took it there. On that note, I would like to say, the question is, what role are you playing in your life? And the role that you're playing, does it speak to your why? Does it speak to your purpose? Does it speak to your passion? Or you just but getting by? We will never know, because nobody knows you better than you. So while we are forever sharing a part of our lives with you, watching this, viewing this wherever you are, as creatives, as my peers come on here, just remember that leaving it better is not just about you. It's getting to a place and exiting and saying, I know I have left it better than I found it. So shout out to you for subscribing, for commenting and all that stuff. I'm getting mushy. My heart is even beating at a faster rate. So I would like to say, Jesus is Lord.
Jesus is Lord, guys.
We gonna